What's up, YouTube? I want y'all to read the title. 11 babies found inside abandoned funeral home. I'm gonna go back a lot because I want y'all to see this shit. Hold on. Here we go.
Guns, drugs, and prostitution. The East Side neighborhood that surrounded Cantrell Funeral Home has long been inundated with extreme crimes such as murder.
If anybody know what the fuck that was used for in a funeral home, let me know. And that bitch look sharp too. But it's definitely got some wear in it. And definitely, whatever it was used for, it's got a lot of different DNA.
It was about damn time. State investigators immediately worked overtime to identify the 11 infant remains found in the funeral home's drop scene.
So basically what's going on here is this video was from 2017, I believe. Yep, 2017. But the video was posted 3 years ago, right? So basically what's happening here is this man had went to an abandoned funeral home. Hold on, I gotta read this. See, I almost damn turned off the light to read that shit. Plasma. That's dry eye. Completion. That's not what that says. Hold on.
7 of the 11. 7.
Completion. Completion? Is that a word? Plasma. Sealer.
Identified and their families have been
Wait a minute,
immediately worked
motherfucker.
overtime to identify
Hold
the
on, motherfucker.
other employees of Cantrell Funeral Home on Mack Avenue. And was about time. State investigators immediately.
Pasture, dry wash. I don't know what that says. Skin tone. What the fuck? Okay. See, I was finna go to bed, but this shit, is sick. So basically what happened is in 2017, a man went to an abandoned funeral home and with a GoPro and just everything he saw, he recorded, right? He didn't post it. And then after that, I think he said in sometime in the beginning, the middle of 2017, the video was recorded. He didn't post it between November and December. They found bodies. They found bodies in a garage with no, they were not refrigerated. They were, man, I'm gonna go back and find the details, but they were not refrigerated. So, wait, I believe it was January or, oh, it was either January, February, and March and April, or February, March and April, or February and April. I don't know. But they went back and investigated. They found more bodies. And then they got tips where more bodies were. And there was one in the basement in a box, not cold, not iced up, and there was no ice. Weird. Just like that, in a hot basement in a box. And another one just in the same basement, no box, just thrown like trash. And you know, I'm not talking not talking bad on no dead or anything, but can you imagine if they just leave someone in a hot basement of a funeral home dead? Well, you can't really say dead because it's a funeral home, so obviously they're dead. But can you imagine? I doubt they would even give a fuck to even put clothes on it, on the corpse. I doubt it. That's crazy.
He worked overtime to identify the 11 infant remains found in the funeral home's drop ceiling.
We're finna go back. Hold on, cause I want y'all to.
And then he went to work for Target.
Here we go. Hold on.
On his tip proved to be right, and the 11 infant bodies were located in a drop ceiling inside a funeral home. Investigators ended up finding a stillborn infant corpse hidden.
I'm finna let.
All right, Brian, thank you so much.
Look, Benjamin. If you hop on my fucking TV again. Anyways, I'ma let y'all see the fucking video for yourself. This shit is mad, crazy, and wild. This shit is disgusting. You hear me?
Live report.
Now, it's also been a few years, and this was one of my very first videos that I ever did, so it's a bit shaky as I had no idea what I was doing back then. I was not making videos at that time, but I knew that for some reason I would want some of this on video someday, so I decided to get a GoPro and go back inside one more time to capture and document everything that I had seen inside the abandoned funeral home. Both in November 2017 and December.
I feel like when he said, hold on.
Get a GoPro and go back inside one more time to capture and document everything that I had seen inside the abandoned funeral.
I feel like when he said he went back one more time, he either knew something or him saying he knew that he was gonna need the recording one day, or eventually whatever his words were, is the truth. That being said, either way, maybe I'm just immature and he's mature, or maybe I'm just curious. Curious cartel. Cause you know what? And I know I ain't gonna be the only one. But those caskets, I would have been opening them. I would have been running through everything. Even if given permission, like I can go in there and record or whatnot, but can't nothing be touched. Bitch, I'm touching shit. And I'm gonna leave it how it is, though. You ain't gonna know I was fucking around in there. But those caskets, everything. Now, where the babies were found, I probably wouldn't even go in the attic of a funeral home. How how does this what? What? This shit is crazy. Hold on, y'all. Wait. Wait. Cause I haven't seen the end. There's like maybe 3, 4 minutes I haven't seen. But like my mind just twisted all up. My mind just twisted all up. Wait. So there was 11 in the attic, 2 in the basement, 2 more that they found, and several bodies. They didn't give a number in a hot garage. Even if it's a funeral home, wouldn't that be my mind just twisted up. But wouldn't that be I swear my mind just twisted up. Like I had the words. Wouldn't that be what is that called when you mess with shit? Not fuck around and find out. Don't do that. Uh what is that called when you mess with shit? Messing with the corpse, in other words. Or not improper handling of a corpse times what was it, 14 plus whatever's in the garage. Oh my god. And I'm gonna say this: funeral homes have limousines and hearse, and those are big body. So that being said, I'm gonna assume the garage has gotta be a big motherfucker. It's gotta be a big garage. There had to have been several bodies up in there. Had to have been. Tell me I'm lying. Hearst are fucking big body. limousines are big body.
Both in November 2017 and December 2017, the Michigan State Department of
See them little chairs right there? Yeah, the cushion probably would have been up. It don't look like the cushions go up on those. Yeah, I would have been trying to find like 100 in there. Those caskets. Oh, look at the drawers. Those drawers might have something good up in there.
and Regulatory Affairs, also known as Laura, out of Lansing, Michigan, first came to the Cantrell Funeral Home amidst rumors and allegations that they were improperly storing bodies and holding back on decedent's funeral preparations until families could pay the total cost, which was totally against the law. So when Laura...
So wait, because families couldn't pay the debt of a funeral, right? You chose to have the body laying and sticking around your funeral home. Whether they were refrigerated or not, you chose that. That's what they do. That is sick. That shit is equivalent to child predator shit. That shit is equivalent to bestiality. That shit is equivalent to people fucking corpse. That shit is equivalent to people eating corpse. That is just sick and disgusting. Why, bro? Why? I don't even call no one, bro. Just why?
To do this check on Cantrell Funeral Home at the end of 2017. They were denied access and were not even allowed inside the funeral home.
No, there go another thing. So even though they denied some big people, even though they denied their entry into the funeral home, they didn't think like, alright, we probably done fucked up. Let's get fixed up in here. Wow. They chose to leave bodies everywhere.
Which raised too many eyebrows in Lansing, and they knew they needed to come back. State investigators from Laura came back in February 2018 and April 2018 and made some bone-chilling...
January, February. So November. Hold on.
Lansing, and they knew they needed to come back.
So we don't give a date, but in November 17, they went to the funeral home, got denied access. It took them a month, maybe 2 months. Hold on.
State investigators from Laura came back in February 2018 and April 2018 and made some bone...
So it took them a month to come back, meaning it took them a month to... It should have took them less than a month to get fixed up in there. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Why? That shit is sick. Tell me on the line. That shit is sick.
Discoveries inside Cantrell Funeral Home. The first move was made in April of 2018 when Licensing and Regulatory Affairs suspended the funeral home license of Cantrell Funeral Home after they investigated those allegations made against the funeral home. They suspended their license based on incompetence, gross negligence, and improperly storing bodies. Things went from bad to worse for Cantrell Funeral Home when the state.
What does that mean? Gross negligence and improperance. And here we go. Here we go. So, an inspector returns and is granted access in December of 2017. April 25th, 2018, after several visits, the state shuts down the Detroit Funeral Home, citing deployable, same shit, conditions. Inspectors found decomposing bodies covered in mold and embalmed bodies in an unrefrigerated garage. So let me break this down right quick. And this video is going to be longer than I thought. So let me break this down. Y'all denied access, but y'all somehow let an inspector in. The inspector cited y'all for violations of a funeral home, and y'all still ain't clean up. Y'all still ain't get fixed up. So, bodies covered in mold. I didn't even think we can grow. What? Oh, that's. If y'all don't know what embalmed means, to break it down, it's when they sew your eyes open, sew your mouth shut, ingest you with liquid. They do, mind you, they drain your blood. So they ingest you with liquid, inject you with liquid, dress you up, paint your fingernails. If you're a female, more or less get you prepared for a what is it called? The funeral thing. An open casket. Now let me also explain this. The reason I know the details is because when I was younger, we had a lot of cassette players, cassette movies, not cassette players, cassette movies, VCRs. And there was this one cassette. It was called, honestly, I forgot what it was called, but it was like a compilation of different shit. For example, when the chicken gets his head axed off, and when I say axed off, it was a female. That bitch really had an axe and axed off the chicken head, and motherfucker just doing had this chicken stuff. I don't know how to describe that. But another thing it showed was that and Bound. I hope I'm saying that right. And it was actually showing an old lady getting embalmed. They were sewing her mouth shut, injecting her with liquid, painting her nails, sewing her eyes open, or was it closed? I don't know. Closed the thing? Fuck. They were doing different shit. They didn't even blur her pussy, excuse me. Her pussy is just out. You know what? We're gonna continue the video because
Investigators found two bodies in an advanced state of decomposition and covered in what appeared to be mold. And the now doted Funeral Home of Horrors knew they were in deep trouble as investigators found approximately 20
Another thing I want to say is when this was recorded in 2017, at the time those 11 babies in the title were in the attic. So whole time he's recording, those 11 babies are in the attic. It just made me sick. Poor babies, man. Why? Why? It just made me sick.
bodies totaled, and more evidence of gross negligence and inexcusable record keeping, which also showed more than $20,000 missing from prepaid funeral services that never took place. Just a few months later, in August of 2018, state investigators again returned to Cantrell Funeral Home after an anonymous phone call led them to where they could find numerous corpses hidden throughout the funeral home. Investigators.
All right, here we go. So, whatever the first part of the timeline was, from when they got rejected and when they came back and the inspectors, right? So mind you, this video was in the beginning of 2017, right? So meaning there's over half a year plus January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and you might as well put August all up in there because August 29th, what was that, 8 months? 8 plus 6 is what? 14? I don't know. I'm stupid, right? 14 months. 8 plus 6. That is 14. See, I told you I was stupid. So 14 months, a year, and 2 months from this recording, the babies were discovered.
Finding a stillborn infant corpse hidden in a box. Investigators continued to search the entire premises and didn't find.
What does stillborn mean? Like, it wasn't rotten, or I don't know what that means.
Else at that time. Just 2 months later, in October of 2018, another anonymous tip to state investigators made it quite clear that they had missed some. And there was indeed more dead infant corpses hidden in the now shuttered funeral home. The state investigators immediately came back to Cantrell Funeral.
Look at that shit, bruh. The badly decomposed bodies of 11 infants were found inside of a false ceiling. on each side of a attic ladder at the former Cantrell Funeral Home on Mack Avenue in Detroit, Saturday, October 13th. Wait a minute. January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So it wasn't even 14 months. January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, April, May. Wait. I said April, August, September, October. It was 16 months. Well, 15 months and 13 days. Over 15 months and 13 days. Let's say 12 days and such hours. That's either way, it's a long time.
And
You would think the babies smell, right? Badly decomposed means they're already skeletons. Like you would think they smell. What? And the reason I paused while reading this is because it says inside of a false ceiling. False ceiling, I don't even know what that means. Oh, I'm thinking it means like this shit right here. That's a false ceiling. If someone was to step on that, they'd fall straight through. Look at how fucking. I mean, it's thick, but it's not thick enough to hold you. Like it's not plywood or it's not 2x4 or something you could. It's not gonna be as strong as the ladder, is what I'm saying. So I guess that makes sense now. False ceiling on each side of an attic. What?
other search of the property. This is when they found 11 more bodies of deceased infants, ranging from gestation up to only a couple of months old, and some of them even appeared to have been mummified. The anonymous tip proved to be right, and the 11 infant bodies were located in a drop.
Mummified meaning, I'm guessing they had to have been there way longer than the 15, 16 months and 12 days. Way longer. Whatever was mummified, it was up there. Within time being, someone knew about that. Someone knew about that attic. And every now and then they would go up there and put a baby up there. If not a baby, multiple babies. So in the time doing that, you seen that baby that was decomposed or whatever cycle it was in, whether it's been mummified for a long time or when they saw it was decomposed or when they saw it was whatever cycle. They knew it was up there. They knew it. And most likely they were the same ones who put them up there. That is just sick.
Going inside of a home.
Little closet here.
The current owner of the building, Nived Sayed, showed me where the decomposing bodies of 11 infants were found. Up these steps.
Now I just want to let y'all know they closed down the funeral home. I don't think they sold it. I think they just closed it down. And then someone else's body was refurbishing and reconstructing it. So this is the new owner.
Behind all of this insulation. Right there. I took a look myself because I was like so many, wondering how these bodies could have been hidden without anyone noticing.
So by the way she's looking out there, it must have not had stank. But maybe it's because they keeping flies out. There's no way for flies to get in. I don't know.
We walked past about 10-15 times here. Never seen this thing.
And that's when our story took a grisly and disturbing turn. And that isn't the only discovery that's been made. We just found out more remains have just been found down these steps in the basement. The remains of 2 people were found today and another 2 people just a couple days ago.
So that's 11 plus 4, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 15 bodies. Let's keep going.
Basement workers was here this morning cleaning. He tells me he found the remains of one individual in a plastic bag in a plastic container over behind this shelf, and then way back there in the dark in the corner he found the remains of another person just thrown away like trash. The worker who made the find didn't want to talk on camera, understandably. Many are worried there could be more discoveries. Still, so much to clean. The facility so large.
Within just a week from that gruesome discovery, the new owner of the funeral home found more boxes of cremated remains hidden in the basement when his work crews were cleaning the property for renovations. This discovery proved to be the final nail in the coffin, as the state of Michigan revoked all licensing for the owners of Cantrell Funeral Home. Now, from what research has shown, and from what we are about to tell you, you will certainly see that Cantrell Funeral Home should have closed much sooner than 2018. Problems extended beyond financial matters for Cantrell Funeral Home. Former customers complained about botched funeral preparations. A family sued Cantrell.
We're gonna break this down.
Beyond financial matters for Cantrell Funeral Home.
We're gonna break this down. Records show problems have plagued. I don't know how to pronounce that. The business and its employees for years, including accusations that they improperly embalmed a man, causing maggots to crawl out his nose and mouth. First of all, why did they put it as accusations? Everybody got a phone. Whether you're okay, so let me break it down what's happening here. So y'all know when y'all go to, I personally never been to a funeral other than when I was little, but I was little, like I remember just running around. Like I wasn't even at the age where I understand that I'm at a funeral. And that's how small I was. But let me break this down. So here we have, I don't know why they put it as accusations. So here what we have is a family of an individual being a man, went to go see him in an open casket. He was embalmed, right? But he was improperly embalmed, causing maggots to crawl out his nose and mouth. Imagine going to an open casket funeral and there's literally maggots crawling out his nose and mouth. Transformed a woman into a monster with another botch embalming job. I don't know what botched means, so I can't really break that down. Looted the estates of grieving families. I wish Lil Bug was here. Lil Bug smart, should break all this shit down. Hey, tell y'all ass, hey, I promise y'all would shut up and listen. Cause that be me. I'll be quiet like a motherfucker. There's my little baby though. Refused to bury baby that had been dead for about 4 years because of an unpaid bill. Well, duh. They went to go put the baby in the attic. Put a dead man in another man's clothes and casket. What?
Our customers complained about botched funeral preparations. A family sued Cantrell Funeral Home for improperly embalming a man's body before it was flown to Mississippi for the viewing. When they opened the casket, a large bubbling mass of maggots crawled out from the nose and mouth, causing severe shock.
So what I was saying was, I don't know why they put it as accusations. Everybody got their phone. Even if they're not there to record the actual open casket, there had to have been phones recording the reaction. So even a reaction to an open casket would say a lot. Now, of course, people would turn it into a investigation rather than seeing a situation for what it actually is in the moment, which is just dumb.
Emotional distress to the funeral audience. Another improper embalming that took place at Cantrell Funeral Home was when they left a woman looking like a monster. That complaint described liquid seeping from her mouth and eyes and soaking her gown, and said her lips appeared 3 times the normal eyes.
So again, imagine going to an open casket funeral and there's liquids coming out the individual that you're going to see. There's liquids coming out their mouth, their nose, their eyes, and whatever else he just said.
Funeral. Other lawsuits filed during that same time period indicate that the funeral home had a series of screw-ups, including when Cantrell II put the wrong body in a casket. In that case, a dead man's family selected a casket and provided Cantrell II with some of the clothes to bury him in. When the family arrived for the service, the casket and the clothes were correct, but there was another man's corpse laying in the casket. The first one to notice it was the dead man's mother, who also had a heart condition and became so emotionally upset that she had to go to the hospital. And according to that lawsuit, it was decided at this time that Raymond Cantrell II would be fired from his father's funeral home business, and then he went to work for Target. Records indicate that
Wait, so who fired him? Who fired him? To my understanding, Hmm. It was his dad. His dad passed it down to Junior. Then Junior got fired. Who fired Junior? What the fuck?
Indeed plagued the business and its employees for many years, even years before Cantrell II's negligence, including accusations that Cantrell Funeral Home improperly embalmed bodies, causing several bodies to decompose from open casket funerals, refusals to bury a baby that had been dead for about 4 years because of an unpaid bill. The funeral home also faked a burial of a 62-year-old woman whose body was finally discovered in the garage. The heaviest fine for Cantrell received by the state of Michigan was for $10,000 for having unlicensed embalmers working for him.
I know I keep pausing it, but ain't it crazy how we can't just die in peace? Our families gotta either pick for us to be burned or buried. That shit is just beyond crazy. It's crazy, but a lot of things are that way. So like when you get a DWI or driving while intoxicated or driving under the influence, right? They pull you over, you stop. They have you doing all this test. They ask you, are you willing to do a blood draw, whatever thing, and you say no. They go get a warrant for your blood in your body. This piece of fucking paper signed by a fucking individual with power. I don't even know how a judge works or a specific judge, but to my understanding, to an individual with power and a fucking pen and a paper with such and such words that they call a warrant, a signed warrant to get your blood. Just think about it. Humans are supposed to naturally hunt and fish, and we can't even do that. We gotta have a fucking license. You know what? ATF and everybody who controls that shit, y'all could shove every fucking license there is in the world up y'all's fucking ass. Shove it up y'all's ass the way y'all's mom took a dick up y'all's ass at one point in the existence of Earth. That's crazy. I can keep going on that, but I'm not going to. I just wanted to say that shit.
Over the years, violations continued to pile up against Cantrell Funeral Home and prompted visits from state investigators many times from the 1990s through its final closure in 2018.
Wait,
The
what
East
did
Side
you say?
neighborhood that's Cantrell Funeral Home and prompted visits from state investigators many times from the 1990s through its final closure in 2018. The East Side neighborhood that surrounded Cantrell Funeral Home has long been inundated with extreme crimes such as murder, robbery, assaults, gun.
I don't know what the fuck that is used for, but again, that motherfucker looks sharp. That motherfucker has wear in it. and whatever the fuck they used it for, it has a lot of motherfucking DNA on it. I tell you that fucking much. I mean a lot.
Drugs and prostitution, which sometimes even extended from outside to inside the funeral home. In 2007,
So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Well, let me break it down like this. Them people that work the bodies, the corpse, I don't know the actual name. But them people that work the bodies, they work overnight, handling the bodies. So I guess that would make sense to allow a prostitute or prostitutes into a funeral home. But at the same time, if you was a prostitute, or prostitutes, why would you want to be fucked in a funeral home? A graveyard, I can see that, cause I don't fuck the bitch there. I done pop me up a fat bitch. Excuse me. I done got me, I done mac and cheese a big bitch at a graveyard. But a funeral home, like, you gotta be one nasty motherfucking prostitute. I'm talking about bitch. Helicopter. That's, I don't know. I'm gonna just shut up and we're gonna play the video.
erupted outside the funeral home during the service for a suspected gang member who had been killed in a drive-by shooting. The brawl to inside the funeral home. In 2007, a brawl erupted outside the funeral home during the service for a suspected gang member who had been killed in a drive-by shooting. The brawl eventually carried to inside the funeral home. Cantrell Sr. once told the Free Press, they've been...
Another thing is, look at all this fucking shit for the embalming, bro. When I told y'all they paint y'all nails, bro, they fucking do. That's fucking nail polish. That is nail polish. And some weird green liquid right there. Hold on. Look at this shit. Hold on. We're going to zoom in. There's some red liquid there. There's some green liquid. This looks, I want to say that's fucking mascara and just feminine products. Like that's feminine products. That's feminine products. Like,
stealing and breaking in ever since I've been here. Charles...
They got shit for painting. It looks like a wig over there. And that tote.
Lived for a time in the residence above home.
Hold on, I gotta zoom out. I can't tell what a lot of that is, but this stuff right here, that's more feminine products.
And recounted how he once three...
Baby. Hold on. That says baby. Let me zoom in. See, it says baby something. I don't know. I don't know what that says. Oh, here we go. Ladies. That says ladies right here.
Burglar had climbed up into the second-story porch of his home and were coming inside his window. I had a 45 in my hand, sat up in bed, and said, "Come on in, fellas." They took off running, he later recounted. When Raymond Cantrell Sr. passed away in 2016, the funeral home was left to his son, Raymond Cantrell II. It is quite obvious that Cantrell Funeral Home had a long history of shady business operations.
Here's another weird thing. I don't even know what is number one, but where is the toilet seat? Why is there a pipe around the toilet? How do you get access to that? Is that like maybe you whip out your dick, put a foot upon the pipe, and you get a better angle? Or I don't know. But I tell you what, I'm gonna assume this is what they put in y'all's asshole to get all the shit out. But if it's for that, why is there a pipe around the toilet? Why? I tell you what, the inside of that toilet don't look good. That motherfucker's a dark hole. And I'll tell you what, if it's because they put in pipes in your asshole and shit, and that's where they dump it, maybe the toilet so no one will use it. That's weird shit. I mean, it looks like they just handle bodies and that has to be the start of fucking COVID. Look at that fucking sink, dog. I mean, it looks like they chop fingers up in that shit. Not that I would know. But we gonna continue.
But the big trouble came after Cantrell II took over the funeral home after his father's death. Since the news of shocking revelations went nationwide, leaving people in both disbelief and disgust, Michigan moved in, revoked the funeral business.
Here's another thing I want you to look at.
And the mortuary science license.
So I'm gonna zoom in, right? And my camera ain't gonna pick it up. But that literally says DOB, date of birth, 05 15 1928. DOS, date of service. So this person had to have been Over 100, if I'm calculating that right. Wow.
Raymond II, as well as other employees of Cantrell Funeral Home on Mack Avenue. And my God, it was about damn time. State investigate me worked overtime to find the 11 infant remains.
More sealer. Heart frame. I think that says heart frame up there. I don't even know what that means. I've been trying to read this shit. Like, dry eye, complexion. So complexion will be like matching your skin tone, right? I don't know why I was reading that weird earlier. And I either said it wrong or it didn't make no sense to my head. Plasma cellular skin tone. What is it? That's a RECTIFIENT. Rectify it. Don't know what that means.
In the funeral home's drop ceiling. 7 of the 11 infants have been identified and their families have been notified. During this separate investigation, and to nobody's surprise, they found utterly terrifying details with some of the infant remains. The parents of a boy stillborn in January of 2014 had their son's remains stored for several months unrefrigerated in a Tupperware container at Cantrell Funeral Home. The mother of another child, stillborn in 2011, claims that she was informed by Detroit police that her son's remains may have been among those found hidden at Cantrell Funeral Home. She had been told by Cantrell staff that the hospital had cremated her son's remains.
I want to say those are used to cut hair when handling a corpse. And I hope that's not used to cut coochie hair or pussy hair. But what he's about to show, I want y'all to look at it.
The parents of a third baby, stillborn in 2009, claimed Cantrell was paid for a funeral, but it never happened. Michigan State Police eventually asked the mother for a DNA sample.
That's either blood or a mixture of the liquid that they inject into the corpse for the open casket with blood or blood with shit. Either way, whatever it is, it's sticky. Because look at all that shit just sticking to it and nowhere else. They didn't sanitize nothing.
To compare it with the fetal remains found up in the ceiling. The funeral home also falsified the death certificate of a baby infant, recording that she had been buried in a local cemetery when in fact her remains were discovered in the funeral home ceiling.
So I want to say that this basement that he's going down is where they found the bodies And from here on out, I haven't seen the video past this or a little bit more past this, but I was trying to see if I see the same box that they were talking about that the body was in. That's whatever that is. That is definitely liquid coming out of whatever body was in that casket that was embalmed. That is not an accident. That is nothing else. That is liquid coming out of whatever body that was in that casket that they were preparing for an open casket or to be buried. That's what that is.
In 2019, shortly after the terrifying, gruesome discoveries forced the funeral home to immediately close, a major transformation took place inside the old Cantrell Funeral Home as the new owner is turning the space into a community center. A much-needed resource for people in the crime-ridden neighborhood on Detroit's east side. 10 large dumpsters of garbage have since been removed. Flooring, drywall, and ceiling tiles are all gone. All the remains of the funeral home are also gone, including caskets and embalming tables. In parts of the building, new paint and new carpet have been put down. The new owner stated, yes, it was a funeral home. People might be scared of this place, but life goes on. We did not want this building to be left abandoned like a bunch of others that we have in this neighborhood. This building had a sound structure, and I thought there's definitely hope that we could do something positive here. The neighborhood doesn't need to be constantly reminded of the horrific tragedy that unfolded here. So doing something positive with the building can only hope to override the negative past. Unfortunately, that's going to wrap it up for the notorious and infamous Cantrell Funeral Home in Detroit, Michigan. Sure hope you guys enjoyed it as much as you could. I know that it's a little bit hard to watch with my GoPro footage because it was so shaky.
Well, unfortunately, that's the video. Honestly, my hand is fucking tired because I just had my hand up for like a whole hour and 8 minutes. But if y'all like videos like this, y'all let me know. And I might go back and watch my own video. But y'all like what I post, like, comment, and subscribe. If you like how I talk, if you like my voice, excuse me. If you like my voice, if you like how I talk, if you like how I read the shit on the TV, as I know there's gonna be people that do, subscribe. You little freaky ass. Get one in for me. Or to me. Get one in to me. Little freaky ass. Alright, I'ma leave. Y'all take care. If y'all like what I post, like, comment, and subscribe. All that bullshit. If you don't, fuck you. I'm out.